Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.
Hello, John Paul.
Hello, Leon.
Welcome to a
little bit of trying to slip in a little bit of cross promotion there, buddy.
Yeah, look, it took me 10 episodes to fuck that one up. Welcome to
Watch
Do It for the
yourself.
Vine, a Vine review and appreciation podcast. There is no other podcast to be referenced, no other podcast to be spoken about. Just do it for the Vine, okay?
Just doing it for the Vine.
John Paul, we've made it to episode 10 against all odds. The haters were coming against us. The world was fighting us. Those phones are still ringing off the hook.
We've already talked about the Chockers email account.
Chocker block.
It's all...
I think we've been told that we have to shut down some of the podcast servers because we're breaking the internet, which is a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but 10 episodes. I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad we've done it. How are you feeling after 10 episodes?
Oh, look, I'm glad we made it through all those hardships. Being cancelled a few times, coming back, being brought back by the network, and just really flourishing. And so many happy messages from people who have had their lives changed by the podcast.
Oh yeah, the Vine listeners really they've brought us back from the brink of extinction many times, with petitions, with support.
Yeah, that's right.
And we thank them in their endeavors. John Paul, for episode 10, we thought it was appropriate to talk about one of the best Vines. It's a classic.
Oh, it is an absolute classic. It's been quoted everywhere. There's been several separate vines been made or videos been made based on this vine. You'll know it instantly.
It's even quoted in other Vines, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
John Paul, this week we're talking about This Bitch Is Empty, Yeet.
That's right. That's right. Boy, when you say it just in a normal accent, it really...
really brings it
takes
home.
away from it.
Now, it is a classic. It's one of the most viewed Vines, but I just cannot, for the life of me, remember what happens in this Vine. John Paul, could you please paint me a word picture?
Leon, I can certainly try. Our scene opens with a close-up of a student walking through a busy school hall. I can only assume it's a school hall. Maybe it's not. Her friend behind the camera offers her a can of soda. She takes the can and immediately exclaims, "This bitch empty." She turns to the crowded hall and throws the can as far as she can, yelling, "Yeet!" And the can goes flying into a crowded group of people. And that's where the Vine ends.
Spooky chills for our 10th episode.
Did I jog your memory?
You did jog my memory, and thank you so much, because for the life of me, I blacked out for a second there.
A can hitting you in the head.
Like a can hit me in the head. It's just so good, because this person is like, "Hey, Terry, you want some?" And then she gives her this can, which is allegedly empty, and by God, I hope for the people in front of her it is empty, otherwise it is a literal weapon. And then she says, "This bitch empty," and just lobs it. Like, it is so crowded, and she lobs it so hard. It's just so good.
That's the great thing. Although in my description I said they were walking down a busy school hall, you don't actually know that it's busy until the camera pans and shows where the can has gone. and you realize that it's hurtling towards a group of students walking down a hallway. So yeah,
it's packed. It's like, obviously I think between classes, like there's probably 50 to 100 people there.
Yeah, it is. There is a 99.9% chance that is going to absolutely crack somebody in the head.
And depending on how often she does this, I assume the person's probably going to turn around and be like, fuck, Terry, stop it.
Yeah, stop. How many takes do you guys need?
This is too much.
Stop throwing this goddamn can.
I think this is one of those perfect vines where it was just off the cuff a moment in time. Her friend offered her the can. She said it's empty and just decided to throw it and say the word yeet. Just completely impromptu, improvised.
Yeah, it's nice and natural, but still... Yeah, I think when I came down to visit you in Melbourne, it was quoted at least 30 times. Every time... Not even throwing things, just putting things in the bin. Yeah. We would just yell, yeet.
Just moving around the house, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great.
It's replaced the word throw in my vocabulary. Now it's yeet something or yeeting something. Sometimes even yeeting myself, depending on what I'm up to.
That doesn't sound right.
No, but it's also like the importance of this vine is that it's permeated popular culture so hard. Like at school, when I am teaching, the kids still say yeet if they throw something.
Yeah, it's still around. It's transcended time and space.
There is another yeet vine specifically, but that's more about dancing. No,
I refuse to acknowledge that vine.
Yeah. But it's good. Like the kids will throw something in the bin, they'll say yeet. One of the best ones that they do is kind of a mixture of this vine, and I feel like a little bit of a mixture of What the Fuck, Richard, where they'll stand at like the half court position of a basketball court and absolutely lob a basketball at the backboard and shout yeet.
That's great.
Yeah, it's scary though because it's very loud. Anyway, So yeah, this bitch empty yeet it's probably a perfect vine.
It is really good. Like I some of the compilations are, or sort of some of the mashups that you can find online are equally as good because they brought in footage from either other vines or other like fail videos online.
Yeah.
Like there's one where she throws the can and then it jump cuts to or smash cuts to a guy getting hit with an esky in the face and getting knocked out. Yeah, it's really good. Really, really good.
It's only improved by compilations. It's also just like the person up there that got hit by that can. As I said, if the can's full, the person's been knocked out. If the can's not full, they're probably going to have like a cut or at least a bump on their head.
Yeah, I mean, if I had handed my friend a soda can that wasn't empty for them to have a sip and they told me it was empty and then threw it away, I mean, I'd be pretty upset by that. So there's also that.
That's the other thing. We don't know how much we can actually trust Terry. Like, how much can you trust someone who just throws a can into a crowd of people?
Not that much.
No.
And I can definitely sympathise with the people in that crowd potentially getting hit by the can, because recently my daughter was playing, who is 2. Was playing with some of our really nice die-cast metal cars. And while I was sitting there having a nice morning cup of coffee, just decided to absolutely yeet one of these cars into the side of my head. And let me tell you, when you get hit with one of those cars, you are down instantly.
I remember you messaging me about that.
Yeah, look, It was bad.
She's her father's child, that's for sure.
And there was no concern on her face. It was really like she was conducting some sort of experiment to see what would happen if she threw it into my head.
Yeah, what happens if I yeet this into his temple?
Yeah. And there you go. There she has the answer. I fall over very quickly.
Oh yeah, science has been explained.
And cry a little bit.
John Paul, on a scale of 1 to Vine being approximately 10 and 1 being the number that starts the scale, how would you rate This Bitch Is Empty, Yeet?
Oh, Leon. Look, this might surprise you, actually. But I'm going to give it a 9 out of Vine for the rhyme.
Oh, wow.
I know it's not like me to score so high, but I just... it's something, again, like I think like our previous Vine, I think I mentioned this, I just quote it all the time. It has transcended time and space, as I mentioned. And the idea of a can flying into a crowded group of people and hitting someone just really tickles my funny bone.
Oh yeah, it really gets the funny spot.
Absolutely. I've got to give it a 9 out of Vine for the rhyme. How about you, Leon?
I'd give it between a 9 and a 10. 10 out of quotability. Yeah, probably a 10. No, it's a perfect Vine. I'm going for it. It's a perfect Vine.
I'm liking it. Should we start doing categories like quotability and stuff like that? I don't know. We could discuss that later.
I've always found that consistency in scoring is not ideal. No one wants consistency.
No, and I've certainly been extremely inconsistent with my scoring to the point where people must think that I'm not even trying.
They can never tell.
I do love these Vines that much.
John Paul, I want to thank, for our 10-episode anniversary, Simon Blackburn and Curtis Fernance for our wonderful cover art and for our theme music.
Yes, I'd also like to thank them.
Yes, and I'd like to thank the Auscast Network for allowing us to get to this 10th episode.
And me also.
And you also. And make sure that you're following us on Facebook and Twitter at For The Vine Pod. You're emailing us at doitforthevinepod@gmail.com, and you're looking at our YouTube for the vines we talk about and for video versions of the podcast. Now, that's not video of John Paul and I. It's just a video of sound waves moving, but you can watch them on YouTube.
Yes, that would be horrific video of me and Leon.
I'm not wearing pants.
Okay. Yeah, jump on the YouTube and watch through the vines that we've been talking about on the show, because it's, boy, they will take you back to a happier time.
And if
sure,
if the mood sways you, if you're feeling the urge, maybe leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, do that. That's nice.
You can even leave Facebook reviews or recommendations. We've got a few of those, a couple of 5 stars. No big deal. No big deal.
No big deal at all.
Huge.
You can also follow us on Spotify as well. Follow the podcast, which means that you'll be able to see it in your podcast playlist whenever a new episode is up, and you can have a listen, which is fun.
I think I'm doing that. I assume I am. Very good. Well, John Paul, as always, wherever you are, whatever you do,
please do it for the Vine.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.